that's maybe this is a video game that we're playing where everything is just a test and that we're put in certain positions. Maybe Jesus was just getting tested to say, like, hey, these people are all trying to kill you. We're going to test you to see how you respond. Are you going to resort back like from your animalistic nature and try to kill the people that are trying to kill you? Or maybe you are going to be on a higher power, be on a higher frequency because you understand the impact that that may cause, or the war that it may cause, whatever it may cause, if you to kill those people. And instead, he became what? He became the standard of being for all of us, right? A godly, mythical being, right?
Oh my God.
Finish with Uncle Brother saying the problem with rules is that people making the rules think the rules are made to be broken. Yeah, we tapped into that. Queez wrote, Queez in the building. Actions have consequences, not sure of no rules at all. Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't saying that, but it's just yeah. I just oh man, imagine just getting to a place where people could just the golden rule was treating others how you want to be treated. Matter of fact, yo, there was a video that I saw where, all right, so what do y'all think about this? Speaking about rules. So there was a law. There was a law that actions have constant, not sure. So not all right. So there was a law, and I forget exactly where it was, but it was that any crime that you commit against somebody, their punishment has to be at least that crime that was committed against that let's say I commit a crime against somebody else, my punishment would have to be at least what I did to that person. And maybe I'm saying it a little bit wrong because obviously when I'm thinking about certain crimes that are committed, how that would work out. But matter of fact, I was reading it in 48 Laws of Power. I was reading it in 48 Laws of Power. I forget which society they were talking about. But they were saying how the law is that if somebody, let's say that I do something and it was wild. It got to a point where it was like, let's say I build a house. I build houses. If I build a house and somebody dies in that house because the construction was bad or something happened from a building standpoint to where the house collapsed and that person died, my punishment would have to be death. They also said that if I build that house and that person and the man dies in the house, but also their son dies in the house, then my punishment would be I have to die and then my son has to die as well. As extreme, but I think they were saying that significantly discouraged people from doing the wrong things and put a lot of pressure on them to make sure that everything that they were doing at their best. I think that is a little extreme, even as I'm saying it, but do we care more about how extreme the rule is, or do we care more about the result of it? And maybe that's a conversation that we're going to get into when we talk about the NIL money. And get your thoughts on it. So Bez wrote, yeah, Buddhism is not a religion. There's no rules or hierarchy of power in Buddhism as it is in religion. Yeah, I agree. If you are saving your own life by defending oneself, there's no choice. Yeah. You always got a choice, but the choices that you have, you may not like. That would be the case, because even so, there's situations. Let me give an example in Florida where it's stand your ground. You could have ran from that person. I'll be totally honest. Let's say that I got into an incident in Florida, and instead of running from a situation, I decided to discharge my firearm. Let's say that. In the moment, I may feel justified. But thinking back, like now that I have to live the rest of my life, understanding that what I just did to somebody by discharging my firearm, shooting them, and let's say that they're gone now. I don't want to live with that. I would be thinking the rest of my life, like, yo, bro, maybe you should have just ran. Maybe you should have just ran. And I'm just bringing that up because a lot of times we will say like, well, I didn't have any other option. That's just more perspective. And especially when you have a law like Florida that allows you to stand your ground, it's allowing you to, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, it just goes back to perspective once again. Make sure that y'all like, and subscribe. We got 23K in the building. Lee's renting the fake wallet. Would the purge work in her favor or against it? I'm wondering. I ain't gonna say that. I'll let you say it. That girl better be joking. There is no pride, Cuzzo. There is no pride nowadays. No shame. Now everything is okay. Participation trophy society. Everyone gets a pat on the back. That is a fact. So Shelly Penn wrote, "Eye for an eye." Ugh. We old you Old Testament with it, Shelly. I hear you. I hear you. Justine wrote, "Jesus." And think about it like this: like a lot of people could say that, well, Jesus had no, if Jesus, let's just look at it with Jesus' story. Let's say that Jesus decided to figure out a way to kill the people that were trying to crucify him. Technically, that would have been justified, right? Based on self-defense. I'm just based on self-defense. So if he decided to do that and he never died for our sins, like, isn't Jesus supposed to be the person that we look up to the most with the ultimate standards, the person that died for our sins? Isn't that the person that we elevate as being a higher being? So if that's what our higher beings are doing, and if Jesus didn't say, yo, I had no other choice, I had to kill them because they were going to kill me. If his mindset was like, hey, these people are going to kill me, I'm still not going to retaliate. Do what you do. Matter of fact, I'm going to come back. Maybe this is a video game that we're playing where everything is just a test and that we're put in certain positions. Maybe Jesus was just getting tested to say like, hey, these people are all trying to kill you. We're going to test you to see how you respond. Are you going to resort back like from your animalistic nature and try to kill the people that are trying to kill you? Or maybe you are going to be on a higher power, be on a higher frequency because you understand the impact that may cause, or the war that it may cause, whatever it may cause, if you kill those people. And instead, he became what? He became the standard of being for all of us, right? A godly, mythical being, right? That's what he became, and that's what he chose. So should we choose the same thing? I'm just asking, especially for y'all Christians. What do y'all think? If Jesus is the ultimate being when it comes to people that call themselves Christians, then shouldn't that be the behavior that is followed? If you call yourself, I've heard this term Christ-like. Isn't that kind of what I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. These are questions that I have. I'm not giving answers. I'm just giving thoughts that come up when we're having this conversation. So please don't hold me to anything other than I'm not telling y'all this is fact. I'm not telling y'all this is the only truth. I'm just asking y'all the questions that come up as we're having these conversations. Bez wrote, there's stuff like that in the Bible. If a man commits adultery with another man's wife, with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress are to be put to death. Woo! Well, when it comes to that, yeah, if Shorty cheat on me, she deserved to be put to. Now, let me. I'm just playing. Am I? No, I'm joking. Forgiveness is the way. Bez wrote Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. All right, we got to tap in, bro. Bez, should we read Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10? Uncle Brother wrote, Leslie, Emperor Constantine organized religion for the sole purpose of control. Aunt wrote, on the other side, I would discharge my firearm to protect my kids and never think twice. I understand. I think if I had kids, that's exactly how it would go down, and I would have no problem dealing with the demons that come my way afterwards. I would have no problem if I have to go to sleep every night and think about and be reminded and have those nightmares to save my kid's life. I don't have any kids, but I imagine that I can't imagine myself doing anything other than that. Now, does that mean that that's the best thing to do? I don't know. But I'm just telling y'all what I would do. Maybe I'm capping, but my kids would still be breathing. With them Zam kiddos. God is ruthless. God is ruthless, bro. God is definitely ruthless. Ant wrote, "Oh boy, here go Bez." God is ruthless. I'm being honest. I mean, you see the things God do. God get angry. God flood the planet. Yo, God get angry. He floods the planet. Everybody. I mean, you could say that that it was justified, right? Let me ask y'all this: was God flooding the planet? Was that justified? Are those justified for all the Christians on here? I'm just asking, or maybe the non-Christians. I'm just asking. Please don't like we can just asking a question. Were those killings or were they murders? I don't know how we describe it, but were they justified to y'all? You tell me. Justine wrote my fault. Queez wrote Big Zoo. Shelly wrote in the country we were talking about. LOL. Hold on, Shelly. I forgot your other comment. Let me see if I can scroll up. Sorry. Oh, I for an eye in the country we are talking about. All right, elaborate a little bit for me. Justine wrote, but what exactly even is the term modern? Like you just wake up and be happy, right? But what exactly is the term modern? Like you just wake up and be happy, right? I'm not sure that I'm following Justine, but if you give me a little bit more context, I'll definitely respond. Bez wrote, laughing faces. Ashley wrote, I for sure believe we are all being tested. Everything's a test, yo. Matter of fact, I think, I've told my parents this. I've asked my mom this. Definitely, I don't know if I've asked my dad, but I really asked my mom this. I'm like, yo, and I've told other people this. Like sometimes I used to really feel like growing up that I was in this video game. And I've told y'all this before, that I was in this video game and every little decision was being tested. That's how I grew up. That's why I used to tell my mother every single word that I said during the day in school. I used to hang on her leg. I can remember it vividly. In pre-K and kindergarten, I used to tell her every word that I said, to the point when I was in school, I would be thinking about how I'm going to like recollect the things that I was saying throughout the day and maybe say less just so I could tell my mother everything. Every word that I said in school, I tried to tell my mother. Every word. I tried to recite it back. Justine wrote, of course, because why does he send you fake ass friends that plot? Okay. And think differently and difficult from you. Okay. Queez wrote the ultimate reset. Justine wrote true shit. So I just asking. So it's whose standard are we following? Maybe that's a better question. Because if Bez, which I agreed on when Bez said that the God is ruthless, whose standard are we following? Is if leadership comes from the top down, y'all know we're going to take it back to Remember the Titans when Julius is talking to Bertier. Bertier is talking about Julius being a selfish person, and Julius responds and says, attitude reflects leadership, Captain. Leadership comes from the top down. So let me ask y'all this. If leadership does come from the top down, if things get chaotic at the bottom, then the root of the problem, I guess usually we think about root as scratching below the surface, but the root of the problem actually comes from the top, correct? Because leadership comes from the top down. Leadership is what establishes culture and establishes society and establishes our perspective on a lot of things in life, right? So wait, if leadership comes from the top down and God is the ultimate creator and God then decided to ruthlessly flood the planet or to flood the planet, that does sound kind of ruthless, where it's like, that's like me being the head of the company, the owner, the CEO. And because I established a terrible culture and in my company and had people maybe doing illegal activity, doing all this illegal stuff to make money, and then I just rat on everybody else to get out of my situation, that's like a little cowardly, right? Now, I'm not calling God a coward. I'm just saying in that situation. right? When you have, imagine the head of a gang or the head of the mob, whatever it is. They're the ones that are in control. They're the ones that are calling all these shots. But then when the police come, when you get arrested, you tell on everybody else to get out of their situation. That's kind of cowardly, right? You the one that you're supposed to go down with the ship. Isn't the captain supposed to go down with the ship? The captain is supposed to be the last one that gets off the Titanic, right? So I'm just asking the questions. I'm just asking the questions. All right, I see y'all. Hold on. It's the persistent feeling, Justine. Okay. Cuzzo said my standard. I like that. You know, I like that. God, I'm telling y'all right now, this is what I've adopted for a very long time, and have been working on it for a long time. Where I adapt, like I'm setting my own principles, values, morals, my moral compass. I'm setting that for myself, which in turn is me building my own religion that works for me, and hopefully a religion that my family can adopt when I have a family, and that we can live by, because we all have unique experiences, right? So rather than me relying on a religion or a book, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, rather than me relying on those, I'm not saying that I'm bigger and better than all these people and that I know more. I'm just saying, like, I'm just taking more accountability. And the stories in the Bible, a lot of these things, they were created by man. So what makes those men any greater than me? What makes those men know what's best for me and mine more than me and mine based on the situation I'm in? I'm just asking questions. Maybe this is coming off as arrogant, naive. I don't know. But either way, I want to ask the questions because these are on my mind. So I'm not afraid of y'all tearing it down or saying that I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I want to grow. Shelly wrote, the country we were talking about before, where the punishment had to be equal to the crime, eye for an eye. Oh, Shelly, all right. Shelly, thank you for giving the context, because you saw me, I was confused. Yes, so an eye for an eye. That was when I was talking about the 48 laws of power, where the rule was anything that you commit a crime, the punishment has to be at least that crime that you committed. It has to come back to you. So yes, an eye for an eye. Thanks, Shelly. Sometimes I get a little slow up here. My apologies. Justine wrote, shit, I don't even know. I'm over here reading it like Justine wrote, shit, I don't even follow my own mother's footsteps. Whew. Ooh. Maybe that's Justine. Maybe this is the reason why more of us, like, if we established our own religions within our own families, you know what it reminds me of? You know how you can have somebody work for you? You can follow somebody else's direction, but when I'm going through it right now where OG Baywa, so y'all know that's she works with us on the OG team, and we had certain goals that we wanted to achieve, and I was getting ready to put together the plan and everything like that, but instead I just turned it over to her. I said, yo, put together the plan. Like, you're going to run me. Tell me exactly what you need from me in order to grow this amount of following on YouTube, to grow this amount of following on Instagram, TikTok. You tell me what you need. You create the plan. You tell me exactly what you need for us to get this amount of sponsors, to raise this amount of money from you tell me, because when she actually writes it out herself, then she takes more responsibility and accountability for it and actually carrying it out. So if we create our own religion, if we say, like, hey, this is the way that I want to live, these are the principles that I want to follow, this is the standard that I want to hold myself to. When we determine it for ourselves, will we have more accountability and actually seeing it through? I don't know. Queez wrote, there is no universal standard. I agree. Mama Lay wrote, I'm not aspiring to be Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No one is trying to be. They literally just trying to move along. Okay. Ashley wrote, shout out to my little sis Ash, by the way. I didn't give her a proper intro into the show. Shout out to my little sis. Ashley wrote, God is in control. He is the creator. As humans, we will never allow anybody to destroy what we created. For instance, how a mother feels about her child. So if God is the creator, Ash, I gotta ask you, if God is in control, then why would God decide to flood the planet rather than just to change the mindset of the people that are there? Like, if God is truly in control, then why would God not take accountability and responsibility for the evil that you're saying that God created, because you're saying that God is in control? So if God is in control, that goes back to the example that I was using with the whole mob, where it's like, if I'm in control of this gang and I'm telling people and forcing people to do certain things, then how can I then say, oh, well, I'm going to punish y'all for doing the things that I told you to do? If God is in control, just asking. Um, Ant wrote, did God ever proclaim to be a leader, or did he give us free will and places a part of him in all of us to discern? I believe, personally, I believe that the definition of free will, that means that we are in control. So I don't believe that. See, to me, I look at God differently than most people. I don't believe that God is just this powerful being in the sky controlling things or setting the tone. I think that God is our connection to each other. I think that God is also defined as the highest of standards in all aspects of life. Or when you say that that's godly, when you say that all these different things, when you say that CP3, Chris Paul, is the point guard, like you're saying that, oh, he's the highest standard for point guard. So whether we use it casually or whether we're using it um, in a true religious context, God, to me, um, I, I, to me, God is just the connection. God is our connection to each other. That's how I see it. Yeah, because I'll be totally honest, because this is the thing that I've always questioned when it came to religion. Ash, and maybe you can give me your feedback. If God is truly in control, then why are you not fixing this stuff? Why are you allowing some of this stuff to happen? I don't want to hear that free will stuff. I'll be totally honest. If I'm in control of my family, let's say that I'm in a leadership role in my family, there's certain things that I may allow my kids to go through so that therefore they can learn on their own. But there's also certain things that I'm not going to tolerate, because I know that I am in control of the situation. I'm never going to allow things to get to a certain point. Now, whatever my point is, and I'm speaking from somebody that doesn't have kids. So even from a team standpoint, whatever, if I'm in control of a situation, then I'm only going to allow that situation to reach a certain point until I eventually say, like, hold up. Nah, we stopping this right here. And that point for me would be a bit before I say, I'm just gonna flood the planet. That's just my perspective. That's just me though. Justine wrote, but like it's the household, a woman's mindset that's not quite completely organized, you know. Okay. Ashley wrote, we all do what we believe is right for us. So if we all do what we believe is right for us, how is God really in control? It seems like God gave us the keys. So if God gave us the keys to drive the whip, then we're driving the whip. We're the ones that decide to get behind the car, speed, or drink, and then get behind the wheel. That's just on us. So is God in control by releasing control? Or is God in control by having, you get what I'm saying? So maybe I'm not saying it 100%. I'm like 7 minutes behind. All right, let me catch up with a lot of the, oh my God. All right, let me catch up with these comments real quick. But people choose wrong, like dads and a lot of men. Hold up, Justine. What we talking about? I just want to make sure. And they show little boys how to be worse, and the boys probably chose lust. Anywho, okay, I think I see where you're going. We know what's right and wrong. You could feel it. That is a fact. Cuzzo, that is a spiritual connection that I think, and this is what I meant earlier when I say, when we associate rules with everything, when we say, oh, I don't want to do this because it breaks the law. When I think in my mind, is this right or wrong? And I say, well, it's right or wrong based on the law. The laws can change based on where I am. So this is right. This is right if I'm in Florida, but it's wrong if I'm in New York. How does that You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that make sense? So going back to your point, we know deep down, and we know. And when we always associate right and wrong with laws, then to me, it takes away from our spiritual connection of just knowing what's right and wrong. There's that feeling that we get in our stomach. I don't know. Some of y'all may feel it through your third eye. You may get pressure in the back of your head when you're all. We know our bodies, bro. We are superb beings. Going back to what Cat Williams said, I really believe that inherently we just know what's right and what's wrong. We know. Without a test, there's no testimony. Okay, Mama Lay. He said, take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. Bez pushing buttons this morning. He know. Ruthless. I mean, if it wasn't God saying it, and if it was somebody else saying it, how would we describe it? Justine wrote, that's why you have to believe in your heart. I agree. Bez wrote, God telling folk to burn their son as an offering. This the Negro y'all claim is the highest of highs. Blasphemy. A lot of people may be offended by what Bez just said. And the problem with being offended, or maybe I'll take it a step before that, I don't think we should ever believe in something to the point where we can't question it. That's when things get dangerous. When we believe in something so much to where we can't question it. I think that if we know something is a certain way, then we should have absolutely no problem questioning it. We know it's the truth. When you know something, I'm not worried about you questioning it. I know. Matt, you ever been in class and you know the answer? When you're in class and you know the answer, you can't wait for the teacher to call on you. Let's say you were the kid that you didn't you never had the answer, you never did the reading, and then you for that night you did your homework, you actually did the reading, you came prepared, you on point. You can't wait for the teacher to call on you, compared to the nights that you didn't do your homework, you didn't do the reading, you're not prepared, and you're sitting there like, don't call on me. You have no problem being questioned when you know the answer. We only have a problem questioning things that we think or that we believe because we feel like you got to defend something so much that you can't prove. Because you can't prove it, you have to go so hard defending it. Compared to something that you know you could prove, you don't care if somebody says something that you know. Yeah, I'm somebody call you broke and you know you got it. You only care if somebody call you broke when you actually broke. You only care if somebody call you broke when you know you're broke. I've been there. Ew, it gets real uncomfortable. Y'all think otherwise? Like, y'all ain't never been there? Y'all, yeah. God telling folk to burn their son as an offering. This the Negro y'all claim is the highest of highs. Take away the emotion, take away your connection with your religion, and really ask yourself really think about what Bez is saying. Ant just sat here and said that he would justify killing somebody else to save his kids, right? That's the love that we have for our kids. That's the obligation, the duty, the responsibility, the provision and protection that we should have for our children, right? To the point where if they're in harm, I should be able to inflict harm on anybody else that is potentially a threat to harming my children. If that's the case, Ant, how do you feel about God telling folk to burn their son as an offering? What would you do if God told you that? I'm just asking. Ant wrote, delegating is good leadership. Shelly, my fault. Shelly sent the praying hands. Justine wrote, see why you people have to move organically when y'all protest, like pop out with them emails and computers and big iPads. All right, I feel like you're going somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where, Justine. But keep give me a little bit more context, because y'all know I'm about 8 minutes behind, so I'm probably reading these things out of context. So my apologies. He gives us free will to make decisions. So Ashley, if he gives us free will, are you who's in control? Let me ask you this: if there's parents that got charged with it was a recent thing where one of the kids that shot up one of these schools or something like that, the parents got charged because the parents were responsible for the child, and I think that they even helped the kid get the gun or whatever. So if God gives you the keys, if I give my kid keys to drive and I know that my kid is not a good driver, I know that my kid had a couple drinks, and I still give my kid keys to drive because I had a lot more drinks, then I would still feel like I'm responsible if something happened with my kid driving that vehicle. So a lot of us like to throw around free will. Free will, okay, free will. That's God giving you power. That's God giving you the ability, just like that can be empowering. We have the free will to accomplish all these amazing things that we can accomplish, right? And we say that was, I know a lot of people like to get up there and say, oh, God, thank God and all this other stuff, but you still have to do the work, right? You're still ultimately responsible for getting it done or not getting it done. So it's still in your control. You still make the decisions. The person that makes the decisions is ultimately in control. So if I give you this key to make a decision, if I give you the power to make the decision, I'm taking the power that I have in control and I'm giving it to you, right? So who's now in control? I'm just asking. Justine wrote to choose love and not lust. Okay. I agree. We definitely got to two totally different things, and they can send us in two totally different directions, love and lust. But clearly, grown-ups are the cowards. Not my dad who left back to jail. Okay, but clearly, grown-ups are the cowards. Not my dad who left back to jail. Okay, all right. I hear you, Justine. Bez wrote, "How can God be in control if He gives free will?" That's my point. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. How can God be in control if He gives free will? I know it sounds good to say. I know it takes a little bit of responsibility and accountability off of us when we can say God's in control. But in all actuality, is He really? Or did He give us the control and make us the ultimate beings? I just want to move that to the side a little bit. I'm just asking. So Ashley wrote, every decision we make has consequences. Yes, God is the connection. Okay, I'm with you on that. There is evil in the world, and we cannot really control another's mindset, but we can each control our own mindset, right? So that's personal responsibility. So that personal responsibility is us being in control. And let me ask you this, Ashley, if God is the one that can control our mindset, then instead of flooding the planet, why didn't God just change our mindset? Why didn't God just change our mindset so that we wouldn't have all this corruption and all this filth and all this evil? Evilness is evil, or all these evil tendencies. Why didn't we? Why not? I'm just wondering. Justine wrote 100% releasing. All right, Justine, we here for that. We here for that. You could release, everything that you want to get off your chest. No problem at all. We here for that. This is a safe space. Ashley wrote, we do what's right for us and not thinking community. I think the purpose was to work as a community, but most have a selfish mindset. I'm right there with you on that. I agree. That's why Ant wrote, that's why I say pay attention to your spirit. We all know what's right or wrong. We know if we're good or bad based upon how we treat ourselves and others. 100% agree. Omniscient, omnipotent, it's all in the plan. Good, bad, or indifferent, there's a plan. All right. I'm with you, cuz you know that. Bez, he didn't let him kill his son. All right. Yeah, y'all having the scripture battles. We got the battle of the scriptures. The universe is meant to work together. The universe that God created, everything does work together. Like we have to accept that as the truth. Everything is connected in this world. We are in a bubble where everything is connected. We are in a bubble where everything is connected. Justine wrote, I was the type of kid, whenever the times tables came up and I had to learn this 6 song. Oh, okay. All right. So you had to, yeah, a lot of us incorporated music into learning our times tables. God would never tell me that. Hold on. So I think Ant's responding to what I said. If God said to sacrifice your son, would you do it? All right, God would never tell you that. I'm just saying. iRock wrote, I love what you said. God is our connection to each other. Shout out to you, iRock. What if I told you that love for your kid is a chemical reaction to ensure humanity continues to live on? I like that. I like that. I'm with that. I can't speak because I don't have a child, but I can only imagine, you know, and I'm going to take heed to what y'all are saying, the people that do have children. Ashley wrote, that's 2 people making the wrong decision, knowing the consequences. Yeah, 2 people making the wrong decision, knowing the consequences. But that's what free will is. That's what control is, right? So who's really in control? Who's really in control? This reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? That Oprah video that I put up with y'all, where Oprah was sitting there talking to the doctor, trying to encourage us all to jump on this whole Ozempic thing and Mounjaro, whatever they're called. And the doctor said, people think that weight is in our control, and it's not. Our weight is not in our control. It's in our brain's control. It's like, what? Like, isn't that our control? Like, isn't that our responsibility? So I don't know. Guys, where does it say God is in control in the Bible? I ain't say God is in control. I didn't say God is in control. Ash, I think that one's for you. How we live our life is the test. I agree. Your spirit is your flesh. All right, I love it. Your spirit is your flesh. Or is our spirit the opposite of our flesh? Justine, is our spirit our flesh, or is our spirit the opposite of our flesh? Is our flesh just more our animalistic stuff? Our spirit, to me, is well beyond our flesh, because does our spirit die when our flesh is in the ground buried? Or if we get cremated, does our spirit die? I don't know. Some people may be walking around with, you see some people walking around like they got the flesh part, but look like they ain't got, the spirit is just gone. I don't know. We have to learn to live amongst good and evil. Forcing people to change their mindset is not giving free will. Ash, I understand forcing people to change their mindset is not giving free will. But when your kids are walking out in the middle of the street and about to get hit by a car, you're going to force them, right? Use your force to save them from getting hit by a car. So that's using the control and force that you have. So if you're saying that God is in control, instead of God making the decision to flood the planet to solve a problem, wouldn't it be best for him to maybe grab the kids from preventing them from getting hit by a car in the street? I'm just wondering. Justine wrote, accept that. Quiz wrote, but we also may justify doing wrong. Some people have that chemical then. The flesh is a container for your true self. That's how I look at it more. Like, I look at flesh being a bit different. But to each their own. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real